Alright, so I'm picking up on page 41, Lead on Black Horse. In the previous page, we were talking about sharps and getting used to that idea, so that's definitely something we should expect in this piece. And if you look at measure 3, lo and behold, there is a sharp. In particular, that would be a G sharp, so we're going to have 3 on G sharp there. So let's find that first before we get too far ahead of ourselves. So C, D, E, F, G. Okay, then G sharp, that's going to be moving to the right, or up in pitch, or to the right on our piano, however you want to think of it. So we know that's going to happen. Then you might notice it's maybe a little more obvious in measure 3, but we're just saying in the last page that, well, if this G sharp, that means the rest of these G's in this measure are sharp. So these are all G sharps here. But then when we get to measure 4, we need to tell you again that it's G sharp because we're in a new measure. If you remember, every time we go to a new measure or cross that bar line, it's like a reset button, and we got to tell you again. So with that being said, it might be helpful for your student or your kid to write in those sharps if that's like really throwing them off at first, and then eventually we'll get rid of them. But even though it might be obvious in measure 3 as well, in measure 4, oh, that last note needs to be sharp as well. There's no sharp written there, but G was already sharped earlier in the measure, therefore that G is sharp. So again, that could be a little confusing at first, and maybe doesn't make a whole lot of sense, like I said, until you get deeper into some of the stuff, and you're like, okay, I can see why we would want to do it that way. Just if you have a ton of notes, it can be really confusing if there's sharps and flats all over the place. But with that being said, this one says quickly with energy, but it's also a trickier one. So I'm going to play through it a little slower here to make sure we have all our ducks in a row, if you will, and then I'll give a quicker pass. And then if they want to do a speed challenge on this, they can. So it's looking like 2. To set up on this A. That's kind of a weird position. But I'm not seeing any circle finger numbers, so we must be hanging out there. And then right hand, 1's coming on middle C. Oh, so it's like this neighbor position that we were doing pretty early on in the book. So I would say is just set up C position in the right hand, the left hand brings the thumb in on B. And we're good to go. We got all our notes covered. And I'm just gonna go for this and we'll see how it sounds. All right, there it is. Weird position. That was kind of throwing me off a little bit. I've been playing a long time, so maybe it won't throw a student off or a kid off nearly as much. I'll give it one more shot here quick. I'll try not to mess it up. But they do say quickly, so let's see, get a little speed on this. There you go. So that's a little more up to tempo there. That'll be a challenge getting it that fast, but if they like the piece, sure, it's a good one to hang out on and like really try to button up and get a lot of details down right instead of just moving along. So as a teacher, sometimes I'll say, yeah, this song's not perfect, but we got what we wanted out of it. Let's just go to the next song. Other times I'm like, let's hang out on this song a little longer, maybe a couple weeks, and really try to nail it, especially if they want to do it for a recital or something like that, or play it for the family. We'd like to do the best we can. So yeah, that's it for that one. Let's see what's on page 42.